There's something chilling about scrolling through someone's social media after they're gone. You see their last post, their final words to the world, and you realize they had no idea it would be their goodbye. That's exactly what happened when I came across Mariah Samuel's Facebook page. I was trying to stay silent, but stalking me at 4 in the morning, and the police ain't doing anything besides serve him with a protective order, and clearly it's not doing anything. Those were among the last words 34-year-old Mariah posted before David Wright gunned her down outside her Minneapolis home.
Mariah will be the fourth woman in our family that was murdered by someone that said that they loved them.
Mariah wasn't just a statistic waiting to happen. She was a dog groomer who lit up when she talked about the animals she worked with. She had 2 kids who meant everything to her. She just celebrated her birthday with her family, taking pictures and making memories that nobody knew would be the last ones. Her friends described her as someone who welcomed everyone with open arms, maybe too open. She believed in second chances, even when someone didn't deserve them. That kindness, that willingness to see good in people, might have been what put her in David Wright's path in the first place. She posted videos of herself dancing, living her life, being young and free.
Shorty lurking on my page, better watch me flow. Hit the boomerang and let her watch me slow.
David Wright was 50 years old, fresh out of prison after serving multiple years for God knows what. His social media was filled with references to doing time, prison wisdom, and that hardened mentality that some people never shake off after being locked up. You know the type. Guys who've been inside so long they forget how to live in the real world. Everything becomes about control, dominance, ownership. Prison teaches you that you either own or get owned, and Wright carried that toxic mindset straight into his relationship with Mariah. At first, it looked like a fairy tale on Facebook. They were posting cute couple photos, writing sweet messages to each other, acting like they'd found their soulmate. Classic honeymoon phase stuff that makes your friends roll their eyes and say, "Get a room." But if you've ever been around domestic violence, you know that's exactly how it always starts. The lovey-dovey posts didn't last long. Wright's true colors started bleeding through like ink on wet paper. He became possessive in ways that would make your skin crawl. He'd show up at her job unannounced. He'd question every friendship, every conversation, every minute she spent without him. Wright had convinced himself that Mariah belonged to him, not loved him, not chose to be with him, belonged to him like property. When you've spent years in a cage, maybe everyone starts looking like something you can cage too. The first time he put his hands on her, Mariah probably told herself it was a one-time thing. Maybe he was drunk, maybe he was stressed, maybe she said something wrong. That's how it works. Victims blame themselves because admitting the truth is too terrifying. When Mariah finally got the courage to say, "I'm done," Wright laughed in her face. Literally laughed. He told her breaking up wasn't happening on his watch, like she was asking for permission instead of stating a fact. That's when the real nightmare began. Wright turned stalking into an art form. He'd sit outside her house at 4 a.m. just watching. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night to get water and seeing someone's silhouette by your car. Imagine that dread in your stomach every time you heard a car door slam. But the physical stalking was just the beginning. Wright started a psychological warfare campaign through text messages that would make your blood run cold. He'd swing between being a sweet, apologetic boyfriend and a threatening predator sometimes within the same hour. "I am sorry. I still have things that I had for your birthday. I hate that you won't accept them. But anyways, I am chill. One last question. Why haven't you blocked me on here? I will never be able to do it." Can you hear the manipulation in that? The fake casualness, the guilt trip about birthday gifts, the subtle threat hidden in, "I will never be able to do it," meaning he'd never be able to let her go. When that didn't work, he'd try the wounded lover routine. "I love you, Mariah, and I am truly sorry for the hurt I caused you. I will regret that night for the rest of my life." He was talking about the night he beat her so badly she ended up in the hospital. Then came more desperation. "I am sorry for this, but I miss you, Mariah." "Nah, forget that. I just miss you." You can almost see him typing, deleting, retyping, his emotions bouncing around like a pinball. But when Mariah wouldn't respond, wouldn't take the bait, Wright's mask came off completely. The sweet messages turned venomous. "You are a fake nothing. I knew you were with that man." Just like that, love became hatred. Protection became possession. Mariah was living in a horror movie, except this was her real life. She did everything right, everything they tell you to do in domestic violence training seminars. She got restraining orders, multiple ones. She documented every violation, every threatening text, every time he showed up where he wasn't supposed to be. She called the police so many times, they probably knew her voice by heart. Mariah got desperate enough to take her pain public. In August 2025, she posted, "The night before last, I got threatened with a gun and hands put on me because I wanted to break up. My spirit is broken, but that's temporary. But you'll be safe out there, though. Have a great Saturday." Even in her darkest moment, she was warning other people to be careful. That's who Mariah was, thinking about others even when she was drowning. She posted again, raw and angry, "I can't stand a human being who can't take accountability for their actions. Hit, punch, slap, push, shove, what you want to call it. No man can call themselves a man after putting their hands on a woman physically in any shape or form. Replace the word man with coward." She was calling Wright out publicly, hoping shame might do what the law couldn't. But shame requires a conscience, and Wright had traded his for control a long time ago. Instead of backing down, Wright saw her posts as a declaration of war. You have to understand how isolated Mariah must have felt in those final days. That last post of hers breaks my heart every time I read it. "I was trying to stay silent, but stalking me at 4 in the morning, and the police ain't doing anything besides serve him with a protective order, and clearly it's not doing anything." She was trying to stay silent. Think about that. Even after everything Wright had put her through, Mariah was still trying not to make waves, not to be too much trouble. But staying silent was killing her slowly, so she spoke up one last time. Just hours before Wright murdered her, Mariah called her sister. She was still documenting violations, still trying to work within a system that was failing her. Wright was texting her again, ignoring the restraining order again, and Mariah was still foolishly believing that if she just reported it enough times, someone would make it stop. September 15th, 2025, started like any other morning for Mariah. Maybe she was getting ready for work, maybe thinking about her kids, maybe allowing herself one moment of hope that Wright had finally gotten the message. At 7:50 a.m., Wright proved that hope was dangerous. He ambushed her outside her own home, not during some chance encounter, not in a moment of passion. This was planned. He brought a gun, and he brought a bicycle for his getaway. This wasn't about love or losing control. This was about making sure that if he couldn't have Mariah, nobody else could either. The neighbors heard 5 shots, then screaming, then more shots. 15 shell casings. Wright didn't just shoot Mariah. He executed her, making sure there was no chance she'd survive to tell anyone what he'd done. When police arrived, they found her near her SUV with one leg still inside. She'd tried to escape, tried to drive away, but Wright wouldn't even let her have that. The neighbors who witnessed Mariah's final moments will probably never forget what they saw. One man was in his upstairs bedroom when he heard the first shots, 5 of them, rapid fire, then a woman screaming in terror. Then more gunshots, because apparently 5 wasn't enough for Wright. When the neighbor looked out his window, he saw Mariah on the ground with one leg hanging inside her SUV. She'd almost made it, almost escaped. If Wright had hesitated for just 30 more seconds, she might have driven away and lived to see her children again. Another neighbor watched Wright struggling to pull Mariah out of the vehicle. Picture that scene, a woman fighting for her life, trying to get away, while her killer drags her back to finish what he started. Wright even tried to steal her car at first, probably thinking he could drive away and disappear. When that plan failed, Wright switched to plan B. He'd brought a bicycle to the scene, which tells you everything you need about how calculated this murder was. This wasn't some crime of passion where he snapped and lost control. Wright planned this execution down to his escape route. The fact that he thought to bring a bike means he'd been thinking about this for days, maybe weeks. Police arrested him the next day in Anoka. One day. It took them one day to track down and arrest Wright, which makes you wonder why it took months to stop him from stalking and threatening Mariah. The system can move quickly when someone's already dead, apparently. Wright got charged with second-degree murder and illegal gun possession, bail set at $1 million, which might as well be $1 billion for someone with his background.
Mariah will be the fourth woman in our family that was murdered by someone that said that they loved them.
The family is pushing for change, calling for more resources to protect domestic violence victims.
Believe the red flags. Do not underestimate. Do not think he won't do it to me. Call the police. If the police are not doing anything, go above and beyond. Protect yourselves at all costs.